to be honest with you. I'm not much at it either. But I had an idea last year when I was shuttling to kind of, you know, I had so many interesting conversations with people, and I just thought it'd be kind of interesting. It's a different perspective, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Than a lot of the, you know, a lot of the videos are them hiking and doing stuff like that. So we'll see if it has any traction there, or if I'm just weird. I think it'd be interesting.
No, it'll be interesting.
So where are you guys from?
Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm a Tennessean as well.
Are you?
Yeah. Grew up in Nashville.
Nashville. We live in Jamestown.
Where's that
Ventures
at?
County. You familiar with Crossville?
Yeah.
Okay, just straight due north of Crossville.
Okay.
Alvin C. York.
Yeah.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
ever heard of Alvin C. York?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. And the Big South Fork.
Okay.
A lot of people.
Yeah, my nephew and his wife moved over to Sparta.
Okay, yeah.
So that sounds like y'all are fairly close to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about an hour.
So what brought y'all to the trail?
I don't know.
Lifelong dream, or
Well, we took up hiking about 10 years ago.
yeah.
We liked it. We've hiked the Appalachian Trail. We'd take off a week at a time,
Mhm.
do work, and you know, we'd hike a little bit of it. We thought, well, might as well do it, you know. We tried it, and we've got some friends down here living in Jasper that done it 3
Okay.
years ago.
Their name's a Tripper and Slipper.
Yeah, Tripper and Slipper.
Cool.
And they've encouraged us. They made it sound just like it was a paradise. Nothing to it.
No, nothing.
It's a little more than that, but
Oh yeah.
it's a great experience. I hiked it in 2017. So, yeah.
There's a 16 one in out.
I think so, yeah, 16. Yeah, I mean, that's just spending the few weeks that we've spent on it.
Right.
We know that it's tough. You know, we started
Oh, yeah.
1 week at Montana Dam. And you know,
Yeah, that's a tough climb.
know, that's
it
a
depends
tough
on which
climb.
way you're going.
oh, we were going towards the Smokies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a tough climb right there.
Yeah, so we, you know, we sort of know what we're in for.
Right.
If our bodies can hold up, we'll be all right.
Yeah, that was my big worry. Is if I felt like I could do it, as long as I didn't get hurt or get sick. And lucky enough, I didn't get too hurt, and I didn't get sick. So
There's a couple of them we met had come on. One guy's John Boy, he's doing it, and he got sick up in Harper's Ferry.
Pennsylvania. It's just a little above the halfway point, I think he
Okay.
said.
okay.
Somewhere in
And
Pennsylvania.
then, do you ever heard of Fresh Ground?
Yep.
Okay, he brought us in yesterday. He was making pancakes, and he said he was headed to Dahlonega to
Resupply.
resupply.
Is he at Gooch?
No, he was yesterday. Where was he at yesterday morning?
Gooch, yes. He's
Yeah,
a Gooch
was it
scout.
Gooch? Yeah.
And then we walked over to Woody, and he fits where he
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I need to go over and see him. I met him last year when I was shuttling around. So I'll have to drive over to Gooch. It's not far from where I live.
Yeah, he said he was cooking, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he did he was here for a while last year. I don't know exactly how long, but it you know, it was about a week, or probably more than that. But he was at Gooch for a while.
He's got a new van, he said, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a white box van, sort of.
I'll have to wheel in there and say hello. So far, so good?
Yeah. Yeah, so far, so good.
No feet issues, none of that?
Not yet.
Good.
We wear them toe socks,
Yeah.
and so far our toe socks. And then we got our shoes redone our shoes before because used to when we did backpacking, our feet would just be like hammered by the time we got home. I was ready to go barefooted. And
how far he went barefoot, but he was barefoot starting out.
Well, if you see me barefoot, you know it's over. Looking for the parking lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the same way. I don't think I could. I saw guys and girls hiking in those Chaco sandals.
Yeah.
And I thought that was crazy.
Yes, because I tried that, and they ate my feet alive.
My wife had the same issue. She hiked about 6 miles in her Chacos, and both big toes were about torn up. I just couldn't imagine not. I mean, I asked one of the guys that we stayed at a shelter together in Maine, and he was like he hadn't had any issues with toes or nothing, and I just thought, man, I'm sure I would have busted a big toe on a rock by now.
We saw some boys up Blood Mountain one year, and they was like, yeah, we're wearing our Chacos. Yeah, I thought we were. And I thought, oh, well, that seemed like that'd be a good idea. Oh, no.
Yeah, it'd be different.
Beat my feet up, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you would do. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to wear them if you were hiking in the cold, for sure.
No, that's what I would know.
What numbers were y'all?
77, and he was 76.
Okay.
But what number was John?
90, I think.
90, and I think.
We signed up. We came down Thursday. We didn't leave till Sunday. We left Springer Mountain Sunday, but we came down Thursday.
I got you.
We hung out, signed up. Then the kids came down Friday and Saturday with the grandkids.
That's awesome.
Well, some of the kids and some of the big kids. About half and half. Which was still a crowd. 6 kids and 13 grandkids.
Yeah,
We still had a good.
Yeah.
That's great. So where y'all headed to today?
Well, we don't know. We're going to either these 2 shelters or if we get into Neil's Gap. Our goal is sort of maybe Neil's Gap, but it's 11, I think about 11 miles or something.
Right. Yeah, it's about 11.
So, we don't know.
I might be naming this Trail of Tears pretty soon.
I think you're getting ready to start the prettiest section.
But we ain't seen anything yet.
Because it's been foggy.
It's been foggy.
Oh, that's
I mean, you can look out through there.
You and took a picture of the fog.
Yeah.
I got you. Now, today you've got a really awesome view from Preacher Rock.
Okay.
Which would be a little over a mile into your climb. Well, into your hike today. You got to climb up Big Cedar. And Big Cedar will be about the same. I think it's very similar to the climb you'll have up over Blood Mountain.
Okay.
Because a lot of people look at the elevation in their guidebook at Blood Mountain, and it looks like it goes straight up.
Yeah.
And just looking at it in a guidebook, you get a little nervous about it, but it's not.
Oh, okay,
that
good.
way. I mean, you've got a lot of lower grade elevation hiking towards it, so a lot of that you see on the guidebook with it going straight up, you're working out a mile and a half, 2 miles, maybe a little more before you get into it. So you'll hit Girard Gap, and then it's fairly uphill, but it's not like crazy uphill. Like I said, it's a lower grade. And then when you hit the base of Blood Mountain, you got a 500 or 600 foot climb, maybe a little bit more. So it's not as bad as it looks in the guidebook.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people that hike it southbound, you come over from Neil Gap.
Yeah.
It seems to be a harder hike that way than it is northbound.
Did they build the trail I just wondered if they built it from the south to the north?
Now they lift it up to all the states. I mean, to connect it. So
Just different portions.
Yeah, Georgia was proposed numerous ways. Like it was proposed to go to the Katahdin wilderness. there's a lot of, I've read a little bit about it. So there was 2 or 3 different paths that they could have laid it out. And each state was responsible for, kind of figuring it all out.
Oh, okay.
And had their own hiking organizations and so on and so forth. And the Georgia part of it, there was the only hiking club in the Southeast at the time was the one at the Smokies. So they wanted it to go a little different route. And then obviously, Grandfather Mountain and Mount Mitchell. Mount Mitchell's the highest point in the Appalachians, and that's in North Carolina. And there was a proposal to take North Carolina through there, and they decided against that. So they've changed it. It's laid out the way it originally is, other than a few of the changes.
Now, how do they get like 1 year? It's like 2,190, and the next year 2,192. Did you say it's like 2 miles?
It's 2 miles longer, I think, this year.
They reroute it every year. Georgia used to be right at 80, and now I think it's 77 point something. They rerouted a couple of spots, like right around Justice Mountain used to go up and over it.
Yeah.
And now it kind of, and I haven't been on it since they rerouted, but from what I've been told, it kind of circumvents the top of it.
Okay.
And then Gooch Gap used to go straight through the little parking area there, and they've rerouted that. So I'm sure there's 2 or 3 different sections that have been rerouted that shortened it a little bit.
Do they do that just for the trail itself?
Yeah, a lot of the areas that it gets beat up.
Yeah.
And so they'll reroute it to lessen the traffic on it and try to get that section of the trail to come back. Yeah, it was when I finished my hike, I had neighbors telling me about different sections where it had been rerouted at times, and so I would get on the old AT, or the older parts of it, and just hike it just to see if I could see anything. And I did find an old blaze on one section. It was on a blaze, an old blaze. It was on a pine tree, so the bark was peeling off. But it was pretty cool to see because I kept wondering, am I really on what used to be the AT? Is there any kind of evidence? But it was neat. But I know one of my neighbors was telling me they rerouted a long time ago. He used to maintain the section up on Trey Mountain, and he said they rerouted that since he was maintaining it. So. But that's been years and years and years ago too. So it was odd because I actually did come out onto the AT from where they had rerouted it, so it was pretty neat to see where it originally had gone through.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you should have some really pretty views.
Do you have any wind damage from the storm?
But there's always been some trees get blown down, but where I live we didn't have anything.
I watched the news last night. I guess down in Atlanta they had several trees blown out.
Oh yeah. It rained so much, I wouldn't be surprised if something last night it was blowing, you could hear it blowing. We've had a lot of rain, so y'all may see a few blowdowns. When y'all go through Lance Creek, either today, probably today, you'll see where when Irma came through in 2017, it really hit that spot hard. And that's where a lot of the thru hikers camp. From March 1st to June 1st, you can't camp between Girard and Neal without a bear canister.
Yeah.
So Lance Creek is a little campground right before you get into Girard Gap. So ton of thru hikers.
Now tell us the story here on the road work. This
Indian.
The Indian Princess?
Yeah, what is the deal like?
She's buried right here, and now they're...
How did they know that beforehand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little Cherokee Indian princess, and I can't pronounce the name. Sorry. But she's buried there, and they're doing a roundabout right here, so that's what all the construction is. They're gonna put in a roundabout.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Odd place to bury one, wasn't it? I mean, I guess.
Well, I think
don't
she's
know.
already buried down there with the road.
Yeah. There's actually an old trail up on top of Woody that leads back towards the Dahlonega, and that trail is one of my neighbors had an old map. I don't know if it's a copy of it or whatever, but that trail's over 100 years old, so it had to be a trail that, you know, the original people used
Yeah.
to get down into Dahlonega. And then he and I found a moonshine still at the base of, well, not far from Big Cedar Mountain, and it's where the law found it and blew it up, so you got pieces of this metal just laying all over there. And there's a rock up here, it's called Whiskey Rock, and the guys that were moonshining right there were loading up the wagon with moonshine, and they went back to get another load, and they came back and they forgot to tie up the mule, and so the mule got down into Dahlonega and was just walking around the square with nobody in it. So they found this mule in this wagon with this moonshine in it. Nobody claimed it. So that's one of the stories. So that's how the rock got its name, Whiskey Rock. So my neighbor had heard this story for years, and he grabbed me one day.
The mule knew what was going on. He knew right where to go.
Exactly. So yeah, he grabbed me and said, "Hey, you want to go find this old moonshine still I've heard about?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he grabbed his old maps, and he found on one of his maps from 1904 that trail was still on it.
Oh, man.
I don't know how far it stretches, because I've followed it from the top of, well, from the parking lot of Woody, and we've hiked on back, and it kind of dead ends into the little overlook up here. So I'm sure it had to keep going. But I don't know. You don't know if the trail got on the road at some point, and that's why you can't find it, or what it is. But there's a lot of old. They look like trails now, and it's wagon roads, old wagon roads. There's one that goes across 42 up here, and it drops down into Dahlonega as well.
Old wagon
I guess that's what it meant, something to go to town then.
Yeah, it sure did.
Get to go to town. It was a big ordeal.
That's right. And then when you guys get to Tenestity Gap, you'll drop down into it. It's maybe 6 miles past Neal Gap. There's an old trail that, well, the AT hits this parking area, and then you go through the parking area and up Wildcat Mountain. But you'll see this other trail that comes into it at the base of Wildcat, and that's called the Logan Turnpike. And that used to be the old toll road, the old wagon toll road. And that Hog Pen Gap got its name because they used to keep the hogs up there in the pens on top of Hog Pen Gap. So, but that old toll road it's called the Logan Turnpike, and the Logan family still has property down here. You go down 60 towards Blairsville, you'll see Logan Turnpike and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat.
Oh, that is neat.
And that was the wagon road that they all used to go over into Gainesville, from what I was told. As it came around and went up over Hog Pen, and they would use that road to take their livestock or whatever they had made into Gainesville to sell.
We learned that on one of the roads in Tennessee, that if you owned a big piece of land and the road wanted to come through, you kept the road up, but you got to charge toll.
I got you. There's a tree that wasn't here this morning.
A little frosty on it, little frosty pine cone.
That's neat. I didn't
picture
realize
shot right there.
That's what,
Yeah.
it was a road in Tennessee, the first one that went from Knoxville like to Nashville.
Right.
And it was Highway 1. And,
Uh-huh.
you know, you owned the stretch. Well, I mean, that's how they got it, took care of it, was...
I got you. Well, they've got you'll up here. You saw the old rock quarry there. There's a rock quarry right here, not far from here, and that's where they use the gravel for the road here. And there's actually one up on top of Woody. As you're hiking down the AT, you'll see it. It's an old rock quarry. A lot of people, when they come into that in the evenings, they make camp up on top of it. It's smaller, but they use, you know, rock quarry there to gravel, I guess, the backside of it. And there's actually one up on the Forest Service Road as well that they used at some point, you know, to gravel that road. So it's pretty neat. History. Pretty cool.
We like
Yeah,
history.
we like all the history.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it, for sure. And thank goodness I got some neighbors that his family, well, the one of my neighbors, his wife grew up in this area, so he I don't know, he's kind of knows where everything's at. Old home places and different stuff like that. So.
And it's good to have those people.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Matter of fact, the first gold rush was right here in Dahlonega.
Yeah, we, excuse me, we all went gold mining with the grandkids
Oh yeah.
down at the mine.
But there was a big project. They had a slough that were coming through, and they were diverting water through all these creeks, and they were going to send it back down into Dahlonega. And they actually cut a tunnel through one of the mountains and had it almost all completed. And then they discovered gold out in California, and all of
That
them
ended.
moved away.
Left that fast.
And that whole slough project never did get up, you know, never did get finished, but it was to divert all that water in there for the gold. And my neighbor and I went hiking and found, you know, where you can see the ditches, and we found it where it goes into the mountain. You can see where the piles, where they had piled it, but they've all got that tunnel has all been closed back in. And he was talking to some people that had lived up here, you know, all their life, and they were talking about when they were little, they used to run in that tunnel and play
I was
around.
going to ask you if they
Yeah.
like,
So,
well, did you hear the big news about Gatlinburg?
what's
They
that?
have, they
Oh,
have
yeah.
found an active volcano somewhere there.
Oh, really?
And so my daughter's still saying, you better be careful. They found it.
Yeah, that trail goes right into that overlook there. An active volcano, really?
That's what she said. I don't know
I haven't heard that one.
if she, I hadn't either. I was just looking at it.
And my wife lives. She grew up in Sevierville, so right
yeah.
near Pigeon Forge and all that area.
How'd y'all get down this way? Just
We both went to UT together,
Okay.
and then from there we moved to Nashville, and Nashville to Chattanooga, Chattanooga to Birmingham, Birmingham to Atlanta, and then we found our way back to the mountains.
On your way home, don't you?
Yeah, we were, you know, we'd always thought about going back and living in Tennessee, and then we started both our children were in college, and then we just started coming up here, and we found ourselves coming back to the same little areas, which is right over the back of Woody there. And I don't know, we were doing a lot of stuff, hiking and camping and kayaking and that sort of thing, and then we just decided there was nothing keeping us where we were.
Yeah.
And so we started looking, and we moved up here middle of March. That trail, you can't see it now. There's a little rock bluff out there.
I seen that rock bluff.
That
out there.
trail goes right up to the top. It's a pretty look right over there.
Oh, good.
But yeah, we ended up moving up here in the middle of March, and then I flew to Maine in June 2017, the end of June, and I hiked the trail back home.
Oh, so you went
Southbound.
southbound.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, going southbound and kind of knowing you're northbound,
Yeah.
which one did you like better? Which one you would have started?
I'm glad I went southbound. I didn't have any, like, I had always figured if I ever got a chance to do it, I would obviously go northbound. I live here.
Yeah.
But our daughter was graduating in May of 2017 from college, and the only way I could do it was to go south. And
If you go south, though, you've got the full year. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't.
I mean, it
like
gets
going
cold.
north, you've got to be done, by the October the 15th.
Yeah, that's kind of like the unwritten date.
Yeah.
I don't think the trail's harder either way. I think you start out obviously in the harder state
Right.
when you start, but I don't know. I just had a great experience, and I wouldn't change it.
Okay, I was wondering.
But I don't think. I don't know. I really don't know. You see a lot of people that start down here,
Yeah.
and there's a few that you can kind of look at and question why they're hiking it, but for the most part, we're all doing it for the same reason.
Yeah.